Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back for game 3 of 4 between Yo and Fire. This game, we're going to be watching a Mongols War. So Fire here in blue once again. Yo playing in red once again, both as Mongols. Should be an interesting game. If you haven't seen games 1 and 2, feel free to check those out. Game 1 was Hun's War. Game 2 was Celts versus Britons. In game 3 here is Mongols. There's one more game in this set that I'll be putting up shortly, so check that out as well. But for now, let's focus on game 3. We'll start off with Yo's map here. You can see he has berries off to the side, his main gold in front. No real opportunity to wall that in. He's got a fairly open map, an extremely open map. His secondary gold is off to the side. Interestingly, we've come in just in time to see that Fire is going to steal a couple of Yo's sheep. He's come forward with his scout very early. Yo is maybe going to steal those sheep back. Oh, that's incredibly unfortunate for Yo. Excuse me, Yo walking right past those sheep, and that's really unfortunate. So Slam potentially going to get these sheep back and have a pretty major advantage. His scout is also still forward, able to potentially do some more shenanigans, maybe stealing this boar or grabbing more sheep, although Yo has his other sheep for now. So Yo's map is open. He does have stone as well on the front. He's definitely going to have to find a way to keep the pressure on his opponent, or else Fire is going to have a major advantage. Well, one would assume Fire's map has to be better than that. On the back we can see Fire's got berries. Stone's off to the side. He's got his main gold here on the front. He has a little bit more structure to work with than Yo. He can certainly wall off across this entire area and potentially limit Yo's entry points into his base. Looks like Fire has given up on that, on the potential shenanigans that he could have pulled off with his scout. He does get those 2 sheep for free. That's going to give him a 200 food advantage over Mr. Yo. And he needs an advantage over Yo. Yo is as good as anybody playing 1v1. So any minor advantage that Fire can grab will help him immensely. You can see Yo here is pushing deer. He has 3 villagers on wood. We won't expect to see a drush from him. We look over at Fire, we can see 4 villagers on wood, so potentially we might see a drush out of Fire. But we'll have to wait and see. For now, both players on 19 population. Yo had a few idols there for just a moment. He was pushing his deer much earlier. Fire is now pushing his deer. Fire is actually housed, which is an interesting thing. He was just for a brief second there. We can see that he hasn't loomed. Neither has... Oh, Yo has gotten loom already. And then Yo pushing in his final deer from that patch. So presumably Yo is going to go forward with his scout and get a little bit of a view of his opponent. What he's seen of his map, I'm sure he's not super happy about. There's just not very much structure for him to work with. I'm tempted to talk about the previous games, but I won't. We'll leave some suspense in case you haven't seen them. But different maps for Yo each game. Let's just say that. Yo is going to drop his barracks during that feudal age transition. Fire grabbing loom. He'll be up on 21 villagers, clicking up just now. And it looks like he's going to go for a pretty aggressive wall-off, palisading potentially across this whole area. So, Fire using his slightly better map, or his, maybe you could say much better map, to his advantage. He's going to wall up, and he's going to potentially be able to protect his resources while pressuring Mr. Yo's. But Yo is up first. He's going to put down a stable. He's actually up on an 18 vil population. That's a very aggressive feudal age time. especially considering that he lost 2 of his sheep, but he was able to push those deer in, and as Mongols, you obviously gather food faster from deer. And we can see Fire with this really long deer push, pretty aggressively pushing deer in there. That's obviously going to help him as well. He is up later on 22, or rather he was probably on 20 at the time he went up. Nope, he's still going up, excuse me. He's on 21 vils on his way up. That's going to give him obviously a little bit slower time getting to feudal, but once he gets there, he should be mostly walled in, and Yo's going to have trouble getting pressure on him. So Yo really not having a ton of time to get in there. Interestingly, Yo is grabbing a boar. Confused about that. Did Fire not find his second boar? Yo is clearly stealing a boar from across the map, or he was trying to. Yep, there it is. Very nice boar steal from Mr. Yo. You only taking a few damage on his scout, and he'll lure that boar right into his town center and take care of business. Unfortunately, on the front, he's finding that his opponent is walled up. Mr. Yo is going to get some extra food, but he's going to have wasted some food. Ooh, I spoke far too soon. Unfortunately, Yo running under that town center, but he did find a way in. These stupid little ponds. There's always a hole in the wall near those ponds, which is really unfortunate for Fire. He certainly was in time with his wall off. He just missed a palisade. One more palisade would have done the job for him. But for now, Fire not terribly hurt by this. He hasn't lost any villagers. Yo's scouts are, a few of them are on half HP. So they're a threat, but not a dire threat. We can see that Fire's coming in. He's got a couple of scouts, and he's going to be able to push those scouts around. And I wouldn't expect them to pick a villager, but we will find out. So 3 versus 3 scouts. Yo is in. Fire has walled up that pond, and he's done so. Yep, that seems to be foolproof, waterproof now, so he should be good to go. And so the scouts chasing each other around. Once these are cleared up from Fire, it looks like he's going to have a safe, happy transition. Meanwhile, Yo is actually going to try to wall that map off. The map that I told you would be so hard for him to wall. He's going to go for it. Meanwhile, Fire here has cleared up Yo, and he's got 3 scouts that he can come forward and try to harass with. Yo with this really aggressive wall off. Very long span here, but he's doing the job. Walling here toward his TC, and he's going to wall here as well. So it's going to be a very tight home base for Yo, but it will hold his gold inside. Potentially towers or archers could reach some of this gold, but for now, all he has to deal with is the scouts of Fire. And those scouts are not going to be able to do a terrible amount if this is all closed up. But those scouts will come forward, and we'll find out what they can do. This hole in the wall will probably be patched. There it is. So 5 scouts forward for Fire, and we'll see what he can do to Mr. Yo. Yo at the moment on a 4 villager advantage. Not exactly sure how he was able to open up that much of an advantage. I didn't see Fire lose any villagers during that harassment from Yo. But hey, nonetheless, Yo has that advantage, and he has clicked up to castle. Yo's had really good castle times in all of the games in this series. And this game will be no exception. He'll get up before his opponent, and he'll also be walled in time to stop Fire from getting in, at least by the looks of it. So Yo's wall has no holes, and therefore he's going to have an advantage on Fire. Unfortunately for Fire, those 5 scouts just seem like they're not going to be useful at all. But we shall wait and see. In the meantime, yep, he's going to try to see if he can put a little pressure on there. In the meantime, Yo is going to get another scout out. Probably do a little bit of scouting around the map. I don't see any more scouts queued up there. So he's just going to go around and see what he missed with his scouts that are now dead. Spear coming forward to defend these scouts. Those scouts will take on that spear. 4, 5 versus 1. Make quick work of them. And they're going to continue to attack this house. Villager coming over to repair it. Not exactly the best thing to... Not exactly the best situation to be in. Really not going to get a whole lot done with those scouts, but at least he's making the most of it and at least idling one villager, making one villager repair. We can see Mr. Yo coming around to the side here, getting some view of the map. Very smart on his part. You know, once you lose your initial scout, you can't just stop exploring the map, especially in a game that could go long term. And here's Yo just poking and prodding and trying to find a hole in that wall. Meanwhile, Yo is going to drop a second town center right on that front gold of his. That seems like a very nice location. Unfortunately for him, as a Mongols player, you often want to get a castle up and get some Mangadai going. He is currently not going to be able to do that because fire still controls the map. So although Yo is up first, he's going to need a couple of military units to take over map control, and then potentially he can come out and get some stone. But we'll see what he does. For now, Yo just searching around his opponent's map and trying to get a few knights massed up to clear up those scouts. Here come those knights. They're actually not going to even bother with those scouts. He's content with sending them forward to try to get some pressure on fire. So, fire controlling more map, but at the moment, just kind of not able to get any villagers, and we're seeing Yo playing an interesting game. Couple of knights forward, one camel coming back, trying to clear up those scouts. That camel is going to walk directly by this spearman, and he's going to be totally unharassed. But he will be able to come down and probably clean those scouts up. Yo's knights have now made it to fire. They're going to work on the palisade here. This is a very long stretch of palisade. Potentially getting a few knights hitting at different locations might allow him to get through. For the moment though, just one knight attacking one square of palisade. It looks like he's going to be fine. Yo has cleaned up those scouts with a camel, and he is coming actually a little bit further forward than I expected to drop a TC to start grabbing stone, and he'll have a nice safe wood line here as well. A couple villagers here working on this palisade. Fire is now up to castle. He's got a couple of camels on the field, and he'll be ready for those knights very soon. Dropping a second TC of his own and a monastery. Third TC as well for fire. He's going to be 5 or 6 villagers behind by the time he gets those TCs down. Maybe even 8 villagers behind. But he will have the ability to keep pace with Yo. 3 TCs versus 3 TCs. And it looks like fire here is going full camels at the moment. This makes sense. He got up later than Yo. So he's got to play a little bit defensively. Looks like, for the moment, I don't think fire has seen Yo's forward TC. This TC at the moment is totally safe. Fire doesn't know about it, and he's not taking that route to get to Yo. So he might not even discover that for a little while longer. Still a couple of scouts out for fire. He's still looking around the map, still getting an idea of what Yo has to work with. He must know by now, or he must think by now, that he has a major map advantage, which he does. He can keep pressure on this forward TC. I think he'll be in really good shape. But let's see how it shakes out. Okay, so as far as military production goes, not a whole lot from either player. A couple of defensive camels, a couple of monks on the field, or one monk on the field there. A monk here as well for Yo. That monk may be able to convert this scout, but if he walks too close to him before he starts the conversion, it's going to be bad news, and there goes Yo's monk. So that's kind of a bummer for Yo. Meanwhile, Fire has found this TC. He's at least found a farm on that TC, so he probably presumes what's going on there. Getting housed again for just a second is Fire. but he's really booming up. 4th TC coming for him. So Yo will be on 3, Fire will be on 4, and there's really no military action to speak of at the moment. The only thing going on is monks grabbing relics. A couple camels here for Fire. We'll see what he tries to do with those. This camel here is going to try to guard this relic. 4th TC coming down for Yo. He's going to be able to take this gold with that TC. And he's going to be able to keep pace with Fire on the villager count. If we do look at villagers, we can see Yo is 63 to 53. He had his 3 TCs up faster, and potentially he has idled his TCs less. So he's built a little bit of an advantage in villager count. What Fire has done is gotten a little bit more of an army on the map. He's found another TC from Yo, and he actually might be able to catch these villagers out in no man's land. Looks like if he can get there in time, he might be able to pick a few of these, at least idle them for now. The monk here is almost definitely going to get a conversion. There he goes. And he will die after he's done. So Yo really able to defend those camels, but at least Fire was able to delay him for a moment. Actually, I spoke too soon. 1 conversion from that monk really does change the game here, and it looks like these camels are going to be able to defend this stone for a little while longer. And as we talked about before, Mongols need stone, at least generally. If you're going to try to go for the Mangadai route, you're going to need some castles. Another relic coming in for Fire. Let's see what he's got. He's got 1 already. He's going to bring in his 2nd. He's got a monk here who's going to come down and grab a 3rd. And that's going to give him a major advantage if this game goes deep into the Imperial Age. Another scout out here for Yo. It might grab a conversion. There it goes on a camel. He did convert the lowest HP camel, but hey, a convert is a convert. And we're still looking at 4 TCs for each player, and both players just trying to put enough military action out there to keep their opponent busy. Both are really just in full boom at the moment. Yo starting to mass up a couple of monks here, starting to get quite a few conversions, getting 2 camels in a row there, and that's going to help him a lot to control the map. He does have a relic, even though it looks like Fire is going to have at least 3 of those. At least Yo. Oh no, Fire will have 4 of those. At least Yo will have 1. Yo has clicked up to Imperial. So pretty much a straight boom to Imperial for Yo, and it looks like it's going to be the same for Fire. Villager count is 84 to 84 at the moment. So dead neck and neck with villagers. Fire's going to drop a castle here. Not in a terribly bad defensive position. Should allow him to control that gold, which will be important if this game goes long term. But we can see a pretty interesting forward coming from Yo. Unfortunately for him, Fire sees it with that monk, and maybe he will react to it. Let's see if he does anything in time. It looks like Yo is going to just come and drop a castle, probably to take over this gold and to put a little bit of pressure onto his opponent. But hey, I'm totally wrong once again. That's a theme of this series. Monk coming down over here. No castle at all coming down there, just a mining camp. So those villagers are, they are not there in secret anymore, and they have nothing to protect them. I did assume that was going to be a castle, but Yo probably doesn't have the stone at the moment, since he has just dropped a castle here. Good castle location. It's going to protect both of those stone piles. And it should allow him to mass up enough stone to start massing up Mangadai. So both players with 1 castle and starting to get some stone going. University coming down from Fire. That will allow him to get ballistics. I don't see one yet from Yo, but we'll keep an eye on it. There it is right there. So these guys are really neck and neck at the moment. Yo's going to be to Imperial about 2 minutes sooner. A minute and a half of game time sooner. That will definitely give him an advantage, but this is really a close neck and neck game. It's really hard to say who's got the advantage. It looks like Fire's about to get the advantage. If he can get over to these villagers that he saw trying to sneak by, he's going to pick off all of them, and that's going to give him a pretty good size advantage in the villager count. He's actually not headed there. He probably doesn't know where those villagers went. He knows that there's gold over there, but he hasn't discovered those villagers yet. If we look at Fog of War, we can see he doesn't know about them. Very interesting. Yo being very, a little bit aggressive, you know, coming pretty far forward to build his TC here, which has worked out fine for him so far, and being very aggressive with these villagers on this mine. Another castle down here for Fire. Starting to take wood on this side of his TC. Wood might be pretty limiting for Fire in the long term, although he does have a few more small patches over here to work with. A market coming down here on the side, double mining camp, some more houses, and Fire will hit Imperial. So both players are up to where they want to be, and it's time for this game to get a little bit more of a military involved. Fire over here with just one Mangadai, but he is going to find all of those villagers, and it looks like he's going to pick, he should pick quite a few of them off. Yo, very aware of this, saw that right away and immediately started running those villagers back toward this TC. And it looks like although Fire will get 2 or maybe 3, he won't get the majority of these villagers. So all in all, a pretty good risk from Yo, able to mine about half of that gold at the expense of only 3 villagers. Another castle coming up on this side for Yo, trying to start to take over a little bit more of the map if possible. It does look like Fire is starting to build forward, double castling this side, which is interesting. Must be worried about this avenue coming into his base. So he'll have quite a bit of firepower there. Upgrading to Elite Mangadai, both players at about the same time. Fire getting bloodlines, so at the moment he's only on 60 HP for his Mangadai. Yo already having it. Yo is +2 armor, and we have +1 armor at the moment for Fire. Fire was able to deny this castle, took a few Mangadai down with it, and for the moment, we are going to see a castle here from Fire. I think that's a very smart move. Yo sending his villagers back to take some of this gold, but not sending any military forward to protect them. So in just a moment, they'll be mining in the shadow of a castle. Let's see if Yo recognizes this. At least for the moment, he's looking elsewhere, and I'm not exactly sure where that is. He's finally going to retreat those villagers and save their pathetic lives, but he will lose the control over this gold pile. So looks like at the moment Fire is kind of controlling a little more of the map, but the scores are very close, the armies are very close, and the upgrades are very close. So we've still got quite a match on our hands, although I think that, well, we're going to see a TC here. Yep, TC here from Yo on this wood line. I do think that Fire is in a favorable position, but I'm not exactly sure who wins, so we'll wait and see. I've been so very wrong the last couple games that if I think Fire's winning, he'll almost definitely lose. Coming forward with quite a few more of those beautiful blue Mangadai. Yo still leaving this castle up, giving his opponent something to shoot at. Obviously, it's going to take quite some time to knock that down with Mangadai. Fire coming up with a stone wall across this side. He's really going to try to block Yo from raiding his side of the map. Yo still not doing a whole lot of walling, which is very interesting for him. He does have a very open map, and I guess he's embraced that this will be a little bit chaotic for him to defend. We are on... how many Mangadai have we got here? Looks like about 20 to 21, and Yo having a similar number running around. A little bit smaller number here. Yo's kind of mixed his up a little, or split them up a little. Fire coming in, getting a couple of free villagers on this gold. This gold is running very low for Mr. Yo. Low Yo. He He does have 3 piles over here. He really should try to get over here and defend this with a TC or a castle, in my humble opinion. But at the moment, he's not going to get over there at all because fire has really shut that whole side of his base off. At the moment, Yo has denied fire from walling this up. 1 Mangadai over here was enough to get the job done, take that villager out, and really slow down the wall off. If Yo wants to, it's time for some raiding. He's got Hussars, +1 attack, +2 defense, and those can really sneak in this wall if they go now. But if they wait, these villagers are going to have this all walled up in 3 shakes of a lamb's tail, I guess, as they say. Meanwhile, fire really investing a lot of time of these Mangadai just kind of hanging out and shooting this castle. Presumably Yo will delete that at some point. It's getting extremely low, but fire's going to drop a castle of his own. This castle here is down to 150. Yo deletes it. Yo getting here just in time to block that wall off. So even though Yo was a little bit more patient than I would have been, he still definitely gets the job done. He gets in before that wall off is complete. He's going to pick 3 more villagers off, but most of all, he's just going to be able to annoy fire now. These Hussars are in, and they're going to be able to potentially do some harassment, although they're going to run directly into that castle. Therefore, we'll look at this larger army from Yo that's trying to come in the other side of fire's base. That army is also going to run into a castle, and it's actually potentially going to be trapped in the middle via this pincer move from fire, and that's going to be a really overwhelming losses for Yo. Yo will get his Mangadai out the back door, or he could have, but the double siege workshop here, a very beautiful play from fire, is going to trap in Yo. So Yo can grab Yo can't do anything now. He's trapped in the middle, and this sledgehammer from fire is going to take out all of his Mangadai. It's a beautiful move, and it really is poetic, because this is what the Mongols were famous for. They're cavalry archers outsmarting their opponent, trapping their opponent in like animals, like game animals, herding them into one area and then slaughtering them. And that's exactly what fire did there. That was an incredibly beautiful move, and he got so much bang for his buck. And he's up to an 800-point lead now. Although Yo is in here raiding, if this TC goes down, and if this army can maybe push Yo back, then a villager or 2 can wall this off, and fire should be in absolute command of this game. He's definitely got an advantage. Once he clears up his own side, I think he's going to be unstoppable. Siege workshop's coming down here for fire. We've got a siege weapon in queue here, a couple of rams. Those unfortunately aren't going to do anything for Yo. And this last hole in the wall is the only chink right now in fire's armor. He may not even need to close it up because his military advantage is quite large. Treb's coming after the castle on this hill. That's going to slow down fire's gold economy. And if he can take it down, obviously that would give Yo a lot more map control. This TC on the corner looks like it's doomed. Slowly coming down, and 3 villagers out here to wall this off. So it really seems like fire has complete and total control now, although the scores are still very close. Yo's going to have to make a really big move. Fire really had a brilliant trap there, and he really had the move of the match, maybe the move of the series of games here so far. These Mangadai operating on this hill, they're going to cause a lot of problems. If they can come in here and grab these trebs with their siege bonus, then fire should be in very good shape. Might see him retreat here in just a moment and hang out by his castle. Maybe not. He wants to come forward with rams. He has cleaned up his own side. A couple of rams left there, but as we talked about before, those aren't going to do very much. More Mangadai coming forward, and he's really just pushing. He's got his pedal to the metal now. He knows he has such a major lead in Mangadai. So Fire really taking over this game so far, looking like he's going to be very, very hard to stop. Starting to ram down some of Yo's base. He's definitely going to get this TC, and potentially with all of these Mangudai, many villagers to go with it. Ram's also grabbing houses and probably these military buildings on the front, and Yo is in some serious trouble. What does Yo have to do to counter this? He's got some Hussars out here and some Mangudai as well, starting to mass those up. Really waiting to attack this big front from Fire until he's probably massed those up to a really high level. The problem is that Fire is inevitably going to be reinforcing those. We can see Yo wants to drop a castle here on the front. Maybe one last desperate push to distract his opponent, kill off these villagers, and get those Mangudai away from the front of his base. But it looks like it's going to be too little too late. Maybe we'll see a villager slaughter here. Maybe we'll see this castle go up, and we'll see Yo extend this game a little bit. Not enough Mangudai here from Fire to stop Yo. So for the moment, it looks like Yo's castle could go up without too much trouble. And he's really investing tons of villagers into that. He needs this, this gold pile. And also, it would be great for him to take it away from his opponent. Yo's going to lose this castle on the side here. But it's done its job, I suppose. He's just about mined out all of the gold on this side. So not the biggest of deals for him. But the problem for him is that his army is just not quite big enough right now to deal with this conglomerate. Wherever it decides to go, it's going to really be a problem. Looks like Fire is going to be slamming Yo's castle here, starting to get that one last castle that was taking away this gold. Once that goes down, I think we'll see a good game from Yo. Yo with a couple of rams here, not going to be able to do anything. And all in all, it just seems like this is inevitable. This is a competitive match. These guys do want to hang around. If they have any chance to win, they're going to wait until that chance is extinguished. So we might see Yo hang on just a little bit longer. For now, he is going to lose this castle. And there's the GG from Yo. So a really, really nice Mongol game between Fire and Yo here. Fire with an absolutely brilliant trap. I think it was somewhere in this area of the map. Yo came up along this cliffside. Fire trapped him in and really hit him with the sledgehammer of Mangudai, which is just awesome. This is my favorite game of this set so far. Really doing the Mongols great justice was Fire in this game. So a really beautiful match, a really competitive one. Game 3 goes to Fire. On to Game 4. Thanks for tuning in. If you didn't see Games 1 and 2, check those out as well. And if you have, then I'll see you in Game 4. Thanks.